Happen if you guys don't, if you get the tax and then you guys leave office? How's the money going to be spent? Do they have the option, the new people, to do what they want to with it?
They have every option to do what they want with it. I would hope the people would hold them accountable for what they do, just like I hope the people hold us accountable for what we do.
But we don't have any protection, though.
You have an election every 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that's our democratic republic that we live in. That is the great protection that we have, is we can always vote those people out of office.
Excuse me. We're guaranteed a republic, not a democratic.
I said democratic republic.
But the other question is okay, this tax is going to be forever.
Yes. Well, I mean,
You don't, every year you're going to do it. I mean, you're not going to change it. It's not going to go away in a year. You're going to continue to take that penny every year.
right, for the future that we see, yeah.
Okay, and one more thing I want you to know is that there is a law on the record that Agenda 21 is illegal. And Thrive 2055 mirrors Agenda 21. It can be mashed up to it and shown. So I hope you don't spend on the Thrive 2055.
We haven't spent a whole lot of time researching that unless these guys have a little more information. I've not had time.
It's not on our list of funds.
They came to, they came to a meeting the first year or so that was in office. I hadn't heard anything from them since then.
I will say this, I'm not going to say that we'll ever take this, I'm not going to say this tax is going to stay on forever, but I will say this, the way that this law is written, if this passes, the commission has the authority of up to 1 penny. So if we're still here or somebody else is here and says, you know what, this is doing great, and we always laugh when we talk about government lowering taxes, but that's something that we're all very keen on if there's a possibility of doing in the future. But if they want to, they can always lower. They can make it 0.8 cents if they see that's what they need. They can make it 0.5. They can get rid of it altogether because of how the law is written. So the ability is there to do it if they want to. But again, it's going to be up to the people. If they see it's not being spent, then the people are going to have to say, we don't think to do that. We don't need to do that.
Personally, if I was still here and we were getting more funds than we needed to run the government, I would offer that extra money to some of the municipalities to lower their sales tax, to keep the counties in the sales tax because it benefits us in so many ways. It's a growth tax. The state of Alabama, for every while, continues to buy property in Jackson County. They're thousands of acres, and they don't pay any sales tax. I mean, property tax. So we lose that revenue. If we use that property for trails or tourism of any kind, any money we put into building a visitor center or a trail or anything else, we don't see any return from it. So it doesn't benefit county government to promote tourism, to promote our natural resources. So I would want to keep the sales tax in place for the county, but I would be willing to try and bring the sales tax down to the municipalities.
One other question. What are you looking at if this doesn't pass? I mean, let's just get down to it. People need to know. What is Plan B? Nobody likes to talk about cuts, but it's a fact.
Plan B is to cure the deficit. And whatever that entails when budget time comes around, we have committed ourselves to passing a deficit-free budget. And it will probably, you can't sit here and say what it's going to entail till we start getting into it. We can give you some examples. The roads is number one. We cannot continue maintaining what we have with the amount of funds that's available. The budget we will pass, I believe, I wholeheartedly believe, will be zeroed out. And I can't personally tell you some of these others make in of what that's going to entail yet, but it's going to probably cuts in every department. Every allocation that we. Every allocation.
All the appropriations that we have left will probably be the first thing to go. Any appropriation due, whether that be rescue squads, libraries, what else we got?
Senior centers.
Senior centers, senior RX is a program. Any of those appropriations that kind of benefit some of that stuff is going to be cut. After that, the only place that we know left to cut is our hours or people in one form or fashion or another. So that's either closing the courthouse once a week, or a combination, depending on, the big question is going to be how much does TVA and lieu tax drop this next year. But closing courthouse once a week, cutting additional jobs, it's going to cut salaries after we cut out those appropriations. Those are the two places that we've really got left to cut.
All right.
If you cut the fire departments, our insurance is going to go to the sky.
Well, that's the thing, we're not giving the fire departments now, so if they can't recover some of this lost funding, then right, that is a potential negative on
I
that.
want to make that clear. We haven't removed any money from the fire departments. That's something.
But if you don't have any to give them.
Right.
then,
But they have received a loss because of that change.
I have a question about TVA. I've only lived here about 3 years, but it seems like TVA's contribution has been reduced every year. And is there any sign that that will level off sometime, or if it, so a year from now, you'll be expecting it to be reduced again?
Yes, sir. The TVA in lieu of tax, the TVA in lieu of tax has reduced every year. A big reason why that is because of the coal plant closing down and because Bellefonte is under accelerated depreciation. So those items are what continue to cause that to drop. So here's our chart on our TVA in lieu of tax, where they've gone from year to year. So we expect that to continue to drop. We expect it to drop for 2 more years because they continue to depreciate Bellefonte. The coal plant is going to be, gone. And then we expect a rise, slight rise from Google because they are a huge power user. And then we expect that to go down even further. Now here's something else with TVA and lieu of tax. If we want it to ever come back, or if we ever want to see it stabilize, we've got to invest in industrial development. Power sales and assets out in Jackson County are the 2 things that make TVA and lieu of tax what they are. Now, we've been very fortunate because we've had Bellefonte, the coal plant. We're very fortunate that Google is coming, but we're going to have to work. We've got to take this opportunity that TVA has given us and work incredibly hard to capitalize on that so that we can get more Googles or Amazon or Yahoo or whoever else to locate here also, so that we can see that stabilize. But unless we invest in industrial development and see that power usage increase, then TVA we expect to continue to drop. So again, we've got a fantastic opportunity to take advantage of with Google. We've got to have the dollars to be able to do that. And what Mr. Venable was saying about reducing other fees and things like that, if there's a way to reduce fees elsewhere, again, if we see in lieu of tax rise, there's opportunities there that then we can reduce fees elsewhere if we see these dollars come back. But it's not going to happen unless we make the investment.
Are all y'all on board with this need of the 1%? Every one of you?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Can I just make just a quick statement?
Yes.
Okay. So taxes are going to have to be raised. Just to maintain the quality of life that we have right now, because we're losing money steadily, right? So rather than tax the property owner in Jackson County, the business owner in Jackson County, why don't we do a fair tax through a sales tax and tax the man from Birmingham who's come to Skyline to hunt on Forever Wildland, the fisherman from Illinois who's coming to fish on Lake Guntersville, people passing through. The same person that gets lost on the trails in High Top that uses the rescue squad and the High Top Volunteer Fire Department, I mean, they're going to use up county resources, and then when they stop at the store and buy a candy bar and a Coca-Cola, we don't even get a portion of that as far as the sales tax. I believe that we should all, pay $32 in sales tax or the equivalency, rather than every property owner in Jackson County increase their property tax by $200 or $300. Wouldn't you agree? Rather than increase these things and more or less saddle the Jackson County resident with the burden of providing all these services, let's spread it around. Everyone who enjoys these services should help pay for it. That's just my opinion. So you take what?
Could I follow up on that a minute? They're talking about all the people coming in. I've got to go on business, be gone 2 days. On the motel room, there's $54.02. Why do we not look at some, maybe do a ½ cent tax and then let these people come in? Scottsboro really has exploded in motels in the last few years.
The dollars, that's something we looked at a couple of years ago. The problem is the dollars aren't there to fix the problem and move us forward. There'd be a few dollars there, and
There'd be a lot of dollars there.
there are a lot of dollars, but it's nowhere near what we're gonna see off the sales tax. Again, it may fix our current deficit. I don't even think it's enough to fix the current deficit if we were to put an extra dollar, I think is what is in place now, $1.
It was $300,000 if we put $1 in place, it was our estimation.
Right.
But could you not do a 1/2 cent sales tax and something like that?
Oh, yeah, that may be a possibility. The problem is, anything like that we do, again, we go through the legislature. We're focusing on a sales tax at this time because instead of putting 5 or 6 different things out there and hoping that one of them passes, we felt that we needed to focus on one thing. Now, if this passes, maybe that's a way to go. Maybe we can say, well, next year, let's look at doing a lodging tax and bring the sales tax down to offset that. But we can't gamble in that sense on putting 5 or 6 different things out there. As they said, we've got to balance our budget. We've got to have a solution going forward.
The county, like he said, we have to go through legislation to get anything done. Municipalities, they can put on another 1 cent sales tax or a lodging tax or anything else anytime they get ready. They govern through the city council, and the commission has to go through the legislation to get anything done.
Now, isn't the legislation debating right now about another 1 cent for the statewide? Yes, they are.
I've not seen that.
That's why they call a special session. They started today.
Yeah.
And the governor wants to balance the budget, just like you guys want to. But they're talking another 1 cent statewide. So we're looking at 11 cents for Scottsboro if
I've
this
not heard
passes.
that. That was
We're
not
looking
his
at 1
original
cent,
plan.
is what we're looking at.
Yeah, that was not his original plan, so he's come up with a new proposal, I guess.
I was talking to the House representative.
Okay. Again, we can do our best to manage the dollars we have, and I can't speak for the state and how they do business. All I can speak for is the county and how we.
But that would be just the whole state. It just wouldn't be Jackson County, it just be the whole state.
That's another thing too, I want to step on just for a minute. We keep saying we're going to 10%, 10%, 10%. That's the city of Scottsboro and some municipalities. Jackson County Commission is asking for 1 cent. We're not asking you to increase our amount that we already get, because we don't get anything. We're asking for 1 cent. The state's got 4, municipalities have got theirs added on it. Jackson County has 0 for the general fund. 1 cent is what we're debating here, not 10 or 11. 1 cent.
I know it's not enough to make that much difference. He's talking about all the money municipalities are getting.
Right.
Why can they not support their own fire departments more than we're already supporting them? I know with a little bit of property tax.
Some of them do, but some of them are in little areas where they don't have a municipality. I live at Crow Mountain, and Crow Mountain, we're not incorporated. Crow Mountain Fire Department stands on its own.
Macedonia, Higdon, all of North Side Mountain. Back
All
there.
down through the valley.
Right, there's several fire departments outside of municipalities that have to be supported. And even the ones in municipalities, they're gonna survive, but it's gonna put a lot more stress because of that change in the funding.
And if the ones that are in the rural area go out, the association sets their district, so they'll have to travel out further. Like Skyline, they might survive, but if Crow Mountain didn't survive, Skyline might pick up the mountain coverage area, so that's gonna put a greater burden on Skyline's part.
Maysville does this thing every year, and it's called chicken soup. And they make hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars every year. They do benefits, and it's for the fire department. I go every year, and you can buy the soup. They all get together, and they make a lot of money, and it supports.
I think all of our fire departments should be commended, all the city fire departments especially. Those guys give up their time. I've had to call them. They came out to Hayfield to help me when my dad had an accident. And if they hadn't been for them, I'd have been there for quite a while by myself, waiting on some help. Those guys already give up their time to help people in bad need, car wrecks, fires, whatever. And, they don't need to give up their time having a fundraiser. They already give up enough time for me and for you and for everybody in this room. And I want to help them.
The one final thing on that with the fire departments, and like I said, we've got several outside municipalities, but that fire in Higdon, a great example of how several fire departments had to come together. We had 8 county departments come together on that fire, one from Georgia, also one from DeKalb County. So even though a municipality has those fire departments, they may not have the resources. If there's a big enough issue, they may not have the resources and may have to call on those departments around them. So again, that's why it's so important to keep these departments. You're talking about changing it by district.
Yeah, so District 1, electing Mr. Guffey, why would, you know?
That will take a legislative act.
It would. So we need to talk to Steve.
That is correct.
We're all for it.
I thought it already
I don't
passed.
mind either way.
We're not doing it. I thought it already passed.
I thought that was a problem with the lines at one time.
We've clarified lines and everything else that we've had questions on.
So what do we need to do? Just you guys draft something up and send it to Steve?
If the people want it, something needs to be discussed. I personally, I like the way it is because we have a commission that works together, is not just concerned with one district, but concerned about the entire county. I think that's the way we need to work as a commission, is that we consider all the needs of Jackson County. Now with that, obviously, I think we try to work together. If there's road dollars, we tried to split that up last year, the 8 miles we did our best to try to split that up where needed between the districts, but I hope that...
Additional cost also.
What?
If we do, I did check into it, if we do district voting, there's an additional cost, because you have to, the way I understand the law, you have to have a road department, you have to staff, we'd have to build a building in each district,
Separate.
just like Madison County is. And when you do that, you times everything by 4, so your employees are gonna go up, if you ain't got money, then, what was the point of it? So after I got checked into it, that's the reason it kind of died down, and legislature at the time didn't want to put it.
Any other questions or comments?
Comment about school resource officers a little bit. Just had a question about that. Why don't they just lock the doors? Well, the stats show that the people that have broken into these schools and killed our children have gone through locked doors, because they either went to school there or they shot through the glass doors and went in there and killed these kids. And the stats also show that when the school resource officers are there, people do not use those places as a target. So maybe that'll help you on that. Having a car there is also a big benefit. If they see a patrol car there, guess what? They're not going to our schools. We're the only county in North Alabama that does not have school resource officers. That's sad. And if you're somebody that's going to make a statement, guess what? You're going to Jackson County, Alabama to do it.
I guess the only thing about that, my 2 sons, well, the oldest one especially went when North Jackson had a resource officer, and all the kids there said he never did anything except sit in his office. Nobody ever saw him.
And every one of them kids knew exactly where to find him and knew his name, I guarantee you.
One of our resource officers raped a child. That's what I have a problem with. And I know it ain't, no, everybody's not like that. But why don't we send some of these teachers and principals to some gun ranges and learn how to pack and bring it in themselves? I mean, I have no problem with that. I would be glad.
Why don't we give each kid a knife and tell them to defend themselves too?
Well, no, you can't do that. I'm talking about adults.
That is insane. You've got one person that specializes in what he does. He's a law enforcement officer. These kids can go to him when they've been molested. These kids can go to him when they don't have resources at home to take care of. The officer may sit in his office quite a while. He's getting paid for what he might have to do. Let that school get shot at. Who's the first target? That officer. Who's the first one to die? That officer. To say, to put a price tag on your kids, that's just insanity. I mean, that's crazy. If we're not even going to pass the 1 cent, you can't put a price tag on protecting kids.
And all for a starting pay of about $14 an hour.
That Lozier starts out at $14.25. Jackson County starts out at $14.27 for a deputy on the road.
I think it's a peace of mind. I know it would be for my children. And also, Jackson County is the 3rd largest county in the state of Alabama, and I think it's a shame we don't have the funds to do it.
And when something happens on North Sand Mountain, how long is it going to take your department to get up there?
Well, hopefully we can keep a car on that end of the mountain when we can. So, they try to stay flat rock north of Bryant because it is such a rural area. And we do not respond to calls from the courthouse. Our guys are out there riding around. We just don't have enough of them. So,
time.
Any other questions?
I don't have a question, but I'd like to make a statement. Thank you for all the transparency you've tried to have, and for you guys going around and listening to all of us ask questions and criticize and not know what we're talking about, so I appreciate you. You're doing a good job. I think.
I wanted to say one thing, I've said it in other meetings that I've been at, but how many times do we get in the car and drive to Huntsville or Chattanooga, maybe looking for a specialty item or eating somewhere, we're using our time, our gas, the wear and tear on our car, spending our dollars in another state or another county, not really benefiting where we live at, and I got to pay a penny on a dollar, and I find myself riding the road a lot for certain things that, we can have that convenience here. So, and we have some specialists as far as physicians here, but, things could change and we can have more specialists here if we have something to offer to people. And that can definitely happen. We need to move Jackson County forward.
Anything else?
Back to what Libby was talking about, if the fire departments in rural areas close down and the insurance goes up, has anybody looked at what that's going to factor in on how much someone's going to have to fork out, plus adding on to the millage tax? It's going to, I would think that it would be more than $34.
We had one person, I think, maybe worked in the sheriff's department, they were telling us, their district changed and it almost doubled what their cost on insurance, I think, if I'm correct on that. So, yeah, you stand if you're outside that 5-mile radius, and if that fire department closes and you're inside that, then you're now outside, you're going to see a huge increase in your cost.
And also in certain areas, you can't get a loan to build a house if the fire department isn't nearby with you. Oh, John Valley right now, Jackson County, they can get fire districts.
Anything else?
I'd like to say one thing, this commission is committed to do what we were sworn to do. It's not pleasant, none of us like the tax. Everywhere I go, and I'm sure these people have too, the ones that are against the tax say, if you pass this tax, you're out of office. Why are you passing this tax? We don't have the authority to pass this tax. We have one vote. All we're doing is giving the people of Jackson County a chance to vote, either yes or no. We can't do it alone. So I just want to clarify that.
Yeah, I wanted to clarify too that I think the lady back there had asked about the salaries of the commissioners. One thing I'd like to make known to everybody, and Mr. Level won't tell nobody, but he gives his whole check away. So he don't keep his check. So if people say that he's in it for the money, or any of us in it for the money, is sadly mistaken. Mr. Miller gives a big portion of his away. It's gone. And I couldn't tell you, it's every week we're doing something where we're taking out of our pocket and giving. I just want to clarify that I don't know who thinks we're getting rich up here, because I promise you, we're doing this for I run, and I know the rest of these guys done the same as me, we run to better our community. That's all I wanted, was to make sure that my kids had it better than I had. I want to make sure our schools are better. I want to make sure our roads are better. I care about the people in this county, and that's it. So we're trying to be, if we were trying to lie to people and not be transparent, we wouldn't be going to communities every other week for months, telling people. We'd have just said, hey, we're going to vote, and then we would shut up about it and let it go, and nobody not even said a word about it. But we want people to know about it. We encourage people to learn the facts. We want people to go out, and if you're against it just because you're against the tax, that's great. I'm fine with somebody being against it just because maybe they're just against the tax. But to be against it because of a lot of the lies that's been told and spread on Facebook and all these other things, at least be aware of what the truth is. That's all I ask. And I appreciate everybody coming today, whether you're for it or against it, I appreciate everybody coming. That's all.
I too want to thank everybody for coming out. You know, I appreciate your involvement in the community. You know, we cut well over $1 million from our budget. We were still facing this huge problem. I mean, we don't have the money to do the things that need to be done, let alone the things that we think we would like to do to better our community. You know, that was too big of a decision for us to make. We put it to the vote of the people. You know, I personally, I'm going to vote yes. I've not told a single person they need to vote yes. I've not told a single person how to vote. This is the community's decision, and that's the way it should be. I just want everybody to have the facts and not expect to vote no and something be different. I mean, we're telling you the truth, the way things are. And again, I appreciate everybody coming out.
I too like to thank you for coming out here. I want you to do one thing. Educate yourself on the facts, not what your neighbor says, not what your cousin says. Educate yourself on the facts of this tax. This is not 1980. This is not 1990. The time we're living in, expenses have shot through the roof to continue doing business. When you're talking about paving and you're talking about the sheriff's office, you know, the sheriff's office, I want to mention this real quick, not because he's here, but it is ridiculous the amount of people that work in this department to cover the mileage that we're covering. Again, we think in the back of our mind, things are not important until it comes to an emergency. You know, it may not be your emergency, it may be yours. It's something to really consider. These resource officers are very important to me personally. I think they should be in those schools. I think it can detour some bad things just by that presence. I think it's very important. The volunteer fire departments, again, personally, it's very important to me. Mr. Venable said it a while ago, and it made more sense than anything in the world. They should not have to volunteer their time to fundraise because they already volunteer their time to take care of us and protect us. I think it is our obligation as citizens of this county to fund these folks. That's just the way it is. This thing is very important. If you do not understand something, please get the information. It's readily available. We'll get it for you if you need us to. But please educate yourself. Talk to your friends when you have the correct information, and then let's make a decision August 18th. And thank you for coming tonight.
Sheriff, Judge, Revenue Commissioner, you guys have anything else? We do thank everyone for coming. You know, we hope folks will watch. Again, we've got 3 cameras here, so there should be no shortage. If you've got friends or family that want to see the discussion, again, it's there. If you have a question or a comment or concern, again, we've got information here. We've got information. I mean, we want to talk to you about it if there's still questions, or if you know someone that has questions. And like it's been said, you know, all we can do is what we've got, based on the information we have, and this is the information we have. And I think it's something to say that 5 out of 5 commissioners think that this is the best option. It's not the only option. There are a lot of options out there, but this is the best option that we have to pursue if we really want to see a bright future for Jackson County. If we want to invest in these things we've talked about, this is where we feel is the way to go with it. So they pretty much said everything, and we've got 2 more weeks to work on this. We're going to continue to share the information. Again, if someone has questions, we want to do that. And after that tax vote, regardless of whether it passes or fails, we're going to continue to share the information on what's going on with the budget. That's what we feel like we were elected to do. Hopefully it passes and we can show that those dollars are being spent where we've said we're going to spend them, and we can set up a precedent that folks won't want to change in the future because again, those dollars are invested wisely. So we want to show the citizens of Jackson County that we can do that and that we will do that. So with that, thank you all again very much for coming. We'll continue working, and thank you very much.
Motion to adjourn.
Hey, remember too, the camera's still on, if you want a budget, call the commission office. And I promise you, if somebody in the fish office don't get it, call me. I will hand delivery to you. Because it's been said that we wouldn't give it out, and we've given out every time it's been requested. So if you want it, call us, because I want everybody to know what we got coming in, what we got going out.
Gary Morgan got it posted
Yeah.
on his blog. Anybody wants to take a look at it? Search Gary Morgan.
Or Clyde.blogspot.com. Just scroll down, it'll be there. Beside the city meetings and the county meetings, it's there.
What blogspot?
In the borough. Arclight.blogspot.com.
All right, so entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.